sure this is working. All right. We are live. Good morning, everybody. This is your girl, Morgan A. Owens, one of the amazing hosts of the Influencers powered by the Cincinnati Herald and the Buzz. So we, still can't get back into the radio studio, but we are still keeping it moving. Last week, we heard from amazing other hosts, and later today, make sure you tune in at 6 p.m. for Naila and her special guest. But I am here. I am super excited to talk with Rebecca, who is an awesome blogger here in Cincinnati, Ohio. She has been in the blog game for years and years and years. I have been following her for the longest time. As you guys know, I recently launched a blog at the end of February, and due to COVID-19, I have really revved up my blog as well as social media influencer work, working with brands, pitching with brands. So I just wanted to bring her on here just to talk about why, blogging is so important. Also, why is it so important for brands to amplify Black voices, Black creators? So we're just gonna get right into it. So, hey, Rebecca.
Hi, Morgan. Thank you for having me this morning.
Of course. So for everyone who isn't familiar with you, do you want to just give a brief introduction of what you do and so forth?
Yes. So my name is Rebecca Shakespeare-Armstrong. I'm the blogger of RJS Fashion, as well as the founder of Cincy Coco Bloggers. I've been blogging for a little over 7 years now, and I have a lifestyle blog. I started off doing interviews with mainstream gospel artists, public figures, and so on and so forth. But right now I am doing lifestyle blogging, as well as amplifying melanated voices through my platform and Cincy Coco Bloggers. So I like to promote local businesses, especially minority-owned businesses, whether it's women, Black women-owned, or Black-owned, or brown-owned, whatever you like to say. I love to make sure that people hear more about businesses that aren't necessarily talked about in like the news or just unheard of. So I'm excited to be here today.
Yes, I love it. So, I think that's one thing that we share in common. What's going on in the world, people are just now, pulling up for a change or supporting Black businesses. And I'm like, I've been doing that for like the past 6 years, right? As an entrepreneur, I started my whole business because I wanted to help more minority entrepreneurs grow, that didn't have the same resources and tools that, that I was privy to in my corporate life. So I've been supporting, Black-owned minority businesses for years. And I think just with the change of this climate, people are really getting more aware, but also people have to see, especially brands, that it's time for change. You just can't put a message on social media and you just can't, say that you're amplifying Black creators, Black voices when your, staff, your, C-suite is not diverse. So, when you first started your blogging, were there any Black bloggers doing it back then?
Yes, honestly, there were a few Black bloggers, but they weren't necessarily in the city of Cincinnati. And I knew of a few, and they are part of the Cincy Coco Bloggers as well. But I noticed that some of them were located in like New York, Atlanta, LA, mainstream cities. And at the same time, people really didn't catch on to them until they realized they needed diversity in their commercials, in their brand pitching, their marketing. So I definitely wanted to highlight that on my platform. Even when I pitched to brands, I let them know ahead of time, this is something that's really important to me, even though I feel like I'm a good match to work with your brand. Amplifying melanated voices was just always very important to me. And that's one of the reasons why I started Cincy Coco Bloggers last year, because I realized like certain brands will only want to work with specific people groups. And if they did have diversity, it was very minimal. And if not, probably just one person or one influencer, one blogger. And then I really got frustrated because I'm like, there has to be more bloggers in Cincinnati. So I literally started checking hashtags and stuff like that. And I found a group of girls that were interested in just being able to work together and then just being able to want to get highlighted, because some bloggers are more introverted, kind of like close knit, but some of the girls were like, okay, I'm willing to work with other Black bloggers. And I also wanted to debunk the notion that people can't work with Black women. And that was one of the things sometimes was difficult for Black bloggers, because people just assume that, oh, it might be a headache, it might be too much, blah, 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 blah. We'll just hire a model, versus just connecting with that Black influencer or Black blogger.
Right. So, if someone wants to start blogging, what are your like 3 top tips you would have for them?
My 3 top tips would be, do your research. Because sometimes you might not necessarily want to like blog, you might not like to write, but you might be really good at doing videos, like blogging. Just figure out what kind of niche you want to do. Because sometimes people think that blogging is only taking pictures, when there's actually more to it. There's angles, there's perception, there's color, there's captions and all this other stuff. And then you have to have that pull or that storytelling to connect with your audience. So that's one tip. Another tip would be authentic. You can literally glean from another blogger, even connect with another blogger, but always stay true to yourself, because that's why your audience wants to work and follow you, and just be a part of your tribe, as people like to say. And then the third tip would be pace yourself, because you still have your own life. You don't owe anybody anything. Yes, you want to be connected to your audience and your platform, but if you need a break, take a break. If you don't feel like writing a blog post, you don't got to do it. Have a schedule, but don't overwhelm yourself. So pace yourself.
That's really good. So I've been trying to launch my blog for like the past 9 years, actually on Facebook, those memories that pop up. 9 years ago, I was like, I'm about to launch my blog, and I never did it. So I didn't realize, of course, the time commitment, like you said, because you're a mom, you're a wife, you do other things, right? And so anyone blogging, that would be also my advice, is like, make sure that you stay consistent. And that's another reason why I didn't really, we lost Rebecca. Hopefully she'll pop back in. So hopefully you stay consistent, because I didn't want to launch my blog knowing that I couldn't produce content timely. So make sure that you do that. Okay, y'all, we're in the internet phase world. So Rebecca, I'm sure, will hop back in. She popped out. So y'all stuck with me for a little bit. So I really also wanted to bring Rebecca on here, because as as an entrepreneur, as a minority entrepreneur, as a woman entrepreneur, I've been trying to connect with more brands that are trying to amplify Black voices. And actually, I have been doing that there she is. I've been doing that for years. There she is.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. I was like, the internet world, y'all pop in and out. But I was saying while you were gone that, when I first launched my Morgan A. Owens brand, that was the whole purpose, was to connect corporations back to my audience that couldn't really, that were not heard, right? They were underheard, but they have buying power. The latest Nielsen report shows that African-American women have $1 billion spend, like $1 billion spend. So we are often the decision makers. We are often, heads of the household, and we like nice things too. So we're willing and able to spend our coins. But I think now in this, in this world, that we want to spend coins with companies that value us, right?
Right.
If I go to an Instagram page of a company and I see no one of color, that doesn't make me feel inclined with spending money, right? Or I don't know how you felt, when we had that blackout day, brands that didn't say anything, I gave them the side eye, right? And some brands I had pending, work with, and I was like, I don't feel comfortable doing this, because how can I, say I'm for, my community, my ethnicity, and you guys aren't saying anything. So how do you feel about that? How has things kind of changed, or if anything, with certain brands that you've liked, you've done work for, that did or didn't make a stance on racial equality?
Honestly, I as well gave them this eye, but I also reached out to a few of them did email me personally with saying like, hey, we do plan on tackling this. And I also stressed, because I know there was a few brands that reached out to Cincy Coco Bloggers Network too, because they wanted to work with bloggers as well. Because a lot of the bloggers that are a part of the network, they're professional women. Like some of them are in the healthcare system, they're essential workers, they travel, they do all types of things. So they wanted to reach out and say like, hey, what can we do? Who can we work with? Because at the end of the day, I think a lot of brands are starting to realize, oh, I do need to show more diversity. So I was frustrated, but also intrigued. And I was also encouraged at the same time to say, okay, these people are reaching out. These brands are starting to reach out, realize, wow, we do need to have more diversity. We need to stop overlooking things. And then I also thought about that before both pandemics happened, the simple fact of, okay, where do I want to spend my money? Like, am I going to just, keep spending my money to brands that I don't see anyone that look like me? Or am I going to actually, be intentional and mindful of where I'm putting my money, as well as my voice?
Right.
So that was one thing I felt. Well, a few things I felt with all that happening.
Yeah, I decided to, besides, the brands, I wanted to amplify small business owners, and I put a call out, to promote them on my social media platform, to, take branded photography shots of their product, to help amplify, their voices as well. So let's get into, if someone was interested, of course, or they're already a blogger, right? They have social media, but they haven't gotten any partnerships or collaborations or paid work yet for, their blog or Instagram. What advice would you give to them? What are they doing wrong? What do you think they're doing wrong?
I don't necessarily, it's all about perspective. So it might not even be that they're necessarily doing anything wrong. Like say, for example, a few girls are food bloggers. Yeah. And they're pushing out food pictures and everything like that every day. But it's also about reaching out to those brands too, because some brands aren't going to come to you unless they find a way to find out about you. So having a media kit, reaching out to those brands, and then having open dialogue, not always saying how much you charge right away, but having that open dialogue on what you're willing to do and so on and so forth, what kind of content you're trying to create for them, because you may be cutting yourself a little bit if you already push out different numbers too early. And then pitch to brands that you feel like you can relate to. So like one of the girls, for example, part of the group, she's a doula. Like working with local organizations that promote healthy pregnancy, or a young girl, she does stuff for Disney. Reaching out to them like, hey, I'm a Disney blogger within the city of Cincinnati. What's something that we can do to promote Disney in my city? So just like doing a little bit of like macro thinking and perspective of, okay, what can I do to make sure that I'm connecting with my audience as well as the brand, making sure that they can connect to my audience the way that they are versus the way I want my audience to be.
Love it. Love it. And if there are some brands out here that, are watching us, first of all, hire us for a campaign. Second of all, if there's brands that are watching that, want to start being more diverse, and don't want maybe bloggers or influencers to feel like they're just using them, what advice would you give to them to start that conversation?
I would suggest having a real open book conversation, even planning virtual tea or virtual coffee date, so they don't feel like they're using them, but also be honest, like what kind of goals they're trying to accomplish as a brand, because at the end of the day, the brand does want to profit from working with a blogger or influencer, and then be open to, if you're a brand, be open to the fact of connecting with someone that is unique. If someone is a plus size blogger, be okay with them being a beautiful plus size blogger. If someone is a lifestyle blogger, be okay with the lifestyle that they choose to amplify on their platform. Because sometimes some brands may be like, well, I want to work with this girl, but I just want her to look like this in this shot. And it's like, okay, you're not being fair, you're not being realistic if this person is always doing this on their platform anyway. So just being open to that dialogue. And then also being open to working with them again. That's another way not to make the blogger influencer feel like they're being used. If you choose to go forward, or even if there's something that you didn't necessarily like, still have that conversation just so you can work with them again, or connect, or maybe do a collaboration with several bloggers as a group effort. That would be a really good idea as well.
Yeah, I always say I love ongoing relationships. I always have, because I think it makes, you know, a bigger difference if my audience sees me working with someone, you know, over time than just like a one and done. I think it makes a little bit more sense. So I absolutely agree with you. So everyone watching, you are tuned into The Influencers, powered by the Cincinnati Herald. I am here with my guest, Rebecca. She is a blogger, wife, mom, all things amazing, Black Girl Magic. Make sure that you follow her on her IG. I posted it in the description. Please make sure you follow your girl as well. If you guys have any questions, please drop them on the social media. I can see you guys, so make sure that you drop them. The Urban League of Greater Southwestern Ohio gave us a shout out. Hey, fam. Joe Sherman gave us a shout out, and Marion Johnson. Hey, girl, hey.
Hey, thank you, Marion.
Yeah, so I also want to touch upon, so I don't know if you saw this on Instagram, just like of all things, of course, the pay and equity between, you know, Black creators versus white creators.
Yeah.
That, you know, I saw a screenshot of like, first of all, these third person agencies, that could be a whole conversation in itself, that have, you know, pitch work to two influencers of probably the same caliber. The Black one, I think, had a little bit more following, and they pitched them a lower amount, and then the white influencer got thousands upon dollars for the same thing. You know, and I was like, Lord, like, we can't win nowhere. Like, you know, I'm fairly new to this. I just pivoted doing more influence work because of COVID-19. So I'm still learning, I'm still growing, but I was just like, geez, now I got to worry about this too. You know, what are your feelings on that?
Honestly, that issue has been around for several years. It actually was an article that was published last year on NBC and a few other places, I believe, also in the Huffington Post. It literally talked about the simple fact of white influencers being paid to like fly out to other countries and everything like that, and they might just send the Black or brown influencer a gift or a gift card or so on and so forth, and not even paying them to do a post or even a story or even writing on their blog post or their blog, their website. It makes me frustrated because there are so many Black and brown influencers that are literally going hard, like paying photographers, having a management team, having whoever they want to work with to make sure that the content that they create is unique and fun and just thought-provoking, drives their audience in, makes the brand money, but they only want to give them a gift. It makes me so frustrated, but I think now with everything going on, because the projection of it, when the article was made, the projection of it was actually supposed to increase this year of, you know, seeing that being an issue. But I think that's starting to pivot right now with everything going on with social justice, that brands are starting to realize, wow, you know, we shouldn't be treating our Black influencers like this, our brown influencers like this, because just because I feel like they look a certain way or they're a certain color, that does not mean their caliber and their creativity should not, you know, get paid monetarily for what they're doing.
Absolutely. Girl, I'm just going to give you your roses while I can. I have so much profound respect for you and all the bloggers who have been in the game for years. Because like I said, I just launched mine end of February, and I get so frustrated when I try to pitch, or I've yet to even get any work from these third-party agencies. I found more luck just pitching directly to brands, but it is a full-time job.
It is.
Don't get me into like when I had to take my own pictures and do my own makeup, and it's like, geez. And then, you know, the strategy behind posting, the hashtags, the content, you know, just being creative continuously. Because, I'm doing this full time, and I had a photo shoot yesterday. I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it anymore tonight. I'm like, I've run out of creativity. It's like, I need help. So I've learned to, storyboard and stuff like that, but I give my hat off to you. Like I said, just before I thought, like a lot of people, it's just, they're taking a pretty picture and just doing some writing. Like,
it's more, yes, it's so much more to it. It could be emotional, depending on what, and then you have to always remind yourself not to compare yourself to someone else, because you just can't do it. So at the end of the day, what you can do is be yourself and be authentic. And that's why it's so important to pace yourself. I also tell the girls in the network, like, if y'all take a break, hey, I'm not gonna look at you different, side eye. Y'all might hear my kids in the bedroom, or side eye, because people need.
My kid right here.
No, look, come on, baby. The people need a break, mental break from social media. Social media can be already overwhelming, especially with everything going right. It was when the pandemic first happened. It was so hard to want to be creative,
right,
or even want to make content, because it's like people gotta worry about getting sick, and then with social unrest, it's like you cry, you smile, you cry, you smile. So you just gotta take one day at a time. But like you said, strategizing, creating the content, even making a calendar is really good. That way you don't overwhelm yourself. And then reaching out to other bloggers to vent, because sometimes if you have a friend that's not a blogger, they might not really care that much.
Right.
But they might like, okay, that's fine. You didn't get to take your pictures, you didn't finish that post. But if you're mentally trying to, be consistent and get content out, it's very important to you. And having that blogger friend to lean on too. It's like, okay, they understand. And I go look at you side eye, like, girl, you crying about not editing your pictures tonight? Like, no, you don't understand. So.
Right. Yeah, that's one thing that I really, realize is that, I need a tribe, just like any entrepreneurship thing, when I was doing my in-person stuff, my business consulting, I had a tribe of people that related to me. And now I find myself in this brand new world. And so I'm like, I need a tribe of people also for blogging. So if someone wants to join Cincy Coco Bloggers, what do they need to do?
So they can feel free to email us at cincy.cocobloggers@gmail.com, where they can just send their information in, and then they'll be added to the network. It's a private group, just because there's like different files and everything like that they will be receiving once they join. But that's all they have to do. And be kind. That's how I look at it. If you're kind, you're cool.
Yeah. Girl, I thought I'd already joined. So let me go ahead and email you. Look, I thought okay, let me go ahead and email you, because I definitely want to be a part of this tribe. But also the other day I was Googling and I was like, let me see what pops up. So I just Googled Cincy Black bloggers, girl, and no one Black came up. The only person that I found was like an archive article from Sydney. And I told her, I'm like, girl, you was the only one who popped up. So I really want to work on, what we can do to change that. Maybe the Cincinnati Herald, well, I'll just make that. Maybe the Cincinnati Herald, we can do something together, to amplify Cincinnati Black bloggers, so these brands can be more aware, or, audiences can be more aware that we're here, maybe pitch something to other outlets that, the Cincinnati Business Courier, the Cincinnati Enquirer, I'm calling y'all out, so they can help. Seriously, that they can, Cincinnati Magazine, so they can help amplify, us, because if I Google, it shouldn't pop up just other influencers that aren't,
Right. And that's one of the reasons why I started Cincy Coco Bloggers, because when I checked the hashtag Cincinnati Bloggers, it was not that many Black bloggers at all. So we do have a hashtag now. It's called Cincy Coco Bloggers. But at the same time, it was like, wow, that made me take a step back. Like, I know there has to be more bloggers in the city of Cincinnati than this. So I did my research and stuff like that, and I connected with some of the girls that I did find. But like you said, being able to amplify those voices, because there's so many bloggers in the city now. I think there's maybe over, because there's around 45 in the group, but there's over like 60 to 70. Some girls are new, some girls have been doing it for years. Like I said before, there's food bloggers, there's a Disney blogger, there's drink bloggers. This one girl, she loves to try wines. This girl named Black Coffee, she loves to try coffee in different coffee places.
Nice.
Healthcare professionals. Stephanie, Sweet Life of Stephanie, she loves talking about like the things that you can do at any age. She interviews people too. She actually just interviewed someone from,
Come on, shout out.
come on, she just interviewed someone from Greenleaf, the stylist from
Oh,
Greenleaf.
wow. I know
So
Stephanie.
yes, she interviewed the wardrobe stylist from the Greenleaf show. There's so many different women. I am Kaya, Princess, Personal Bravery. There's therapists that are bloggers in the group. So there's so many women to connect with, and they're awesome, and they would love to work with brands and other bloggers in the city.
I love it. So maybe that's what we'll do. We need to do a blogger shout out on the Herald.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's done. Consider it done.
Okay.
Walter, awesome. If you're listening, consider it done. So that would be awesome. So I know I'm going to submit an email to join Cincy Coco Bloggers.
Okay.
And everyone else, please make sure you follow Rebecca. And this is something that you can support for free, right? If people comment on your blog, if people follow you on Instagram, they engage on your page, that helps them grow. That helps me grow. That helps Rebecca grow. That helps all these Cincinnati bloggers grow to get where they want to get to. So that's something, like I said, free 99 that all y'all can do. It's better if you just cut us a check too, but we really appreciate the free support that really helps us grow in our businesses and our brands, right?
Yes, you said it.
All right, well, I could talk to you all day. Do you have any final words you want to share?
No, not really. I feel like I said the same thing multiple times, but I'll say it again. Shameless plug. Feel free to follow us at Cincy Coco Bloggers on Instagram as well as Facebook, or you can follow my personal page at RJS Fashion on Instagram as well. And thank you so much for having me, Morgan. I truly enjoyed myself.
Oh, absolutely. So guys, make sure that you also follow me on Instagram, Morgan Angelique Owens, but also go to the CincinnatiHerald.com. Click on influencers and you'll see my blog, Professional Pretty Blog, featured. But you can also go to my website, morganaowens.com, and click on Professional Pretty Blog. So thank you all for joining us this morning. Make sure you tune back in here at 6 p.m. with Naila for the next episode of The Influencers. And I will see you guys later.
Thank you.